Только что мы поговорили про импортозамещение.
We have just had a talk on import substitution. Import substitution means that a lot of foreign players are leaving the Russian market.
Десятки. И
We are talking about dozens of such players, and now we will have a conversation with a
Алексеем Луцким,
business consultant on information security from Cisco. Cisco is one company that is in the process of leaving the Russian market. Please welcome Alexei Lukatsky. So you work for a renowned company. How is your life these days?
в
You are a
медиасреде
well-known
довольно
personality. You are a
известный.
media
Можете
personality in
свою
cyber
оценить
security.
компанию? Алексей,
Can
привет.
your opinion be separated from the opinion of your company?
Не как
Hi,
обладатель
hello. I'm
Cisco
here
лицензии,
not
поэтому
as
я
a
не
Cisco
зависим от
employee. I'm on
от
vacation.
всего
I'm
вашего
here
задачи.
wearing my hat of an
Тогда
independent
начнем с
expert.
того,
Okay, then see you
что у
tomorrow.
вас произошло. Компания Cisco
No.
известная,
On a more
достаточно
serious note, Cisco is a well-known company, a well-established company. They've been in the Russian market for many, many years, and now you are not talking as a Cisco employee, but in view of recent events, what happened in your company? How did it go?
В то, что произошло, потому что
Well, I do not want to go into the details of what happened and what is still happening in the company. No final decision has been taken by the company, yet we are on vacation.
был бы
Are
неоплачиваемый
they
в отпуск.
paying? Yes, the company is paying for the vacation.
Компания
The company is paying us, and the company continues to be in operation at least if formally
так или иначе
the situation
в обозримом
continues to be
будущем
challenging. We are waiting for the final decision. We are sure the decision will follow soon. It's been already 3 months. And it's not just Cisco, but other companies as well that had this, that put themselves on hold to take a decision. I think that in the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, we will find out how it's going to happen in the
вероятный
future.
сценарий, я просто фантазирую. Слышал байку, будто бы
Um,
компания
how
McDonald's
about uh,
в России
how about
собирается
this
присоединиться к
rumor?
самым известным
Have you heard that
подонным рынкам.
McDonald's is
Что это
going
может
to continue
быть,
operating in
скажем так,
Russia, not as
станет
McDonald's, but Don Mac?
переделанный
What about?
бренд. Но,
Do
как
you
вы
think
знаете, является
it's
ручным
possible that Cisco will continue, will stay in Russia, not as Cisco, but as Co-Sys or something?
от Дотмака,
Well, no, that's a funny story, but
который производится в
Dot
России,
Mac, Doc Mac, Doc Mac is using products that are made in Russia, right? They use Russian raw materials,
который
while
производится в
all
России.
foreign vendors um,
Поэтому
uh,
все
have operations in the
варианты
country
совместного
with raw
производства
materials,
компаний
basically with
могут
feedstock, with the
быть
hardware,
не
software that's not made in Russia. So I don't think that IT companies will be able
И надо сказать,
to
что от оборудования
perform that
Cisco
trick.
очень, ну, все
Yes, unfortunately, in Cisco, I don't think there is a single infrastructure in
производители
Russia that
оборудования Cisco,
would not have a
поэтому
piece
это
of Cisco equipment in it.
серьезный такой удар
So it's
по
a
инфраструктурному
serious blow to infrastructure. It's not a blow. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Okay, a challenge
работать,
because
если
hardware continues to
сделано много
work,
манипуляций в самом
and
начале,
if the
свои действия, если оно
customer set everything up correctly from the very beginning, the hardware will continue to work. If they had the BLR licenses from the start, then it will not affect anything. For some people, nothing changed. For some, many things changed, but it's life, its security will live under constant instability. It's another uncertainty. You see, either companies were ready for this uncertainty or they were not. For the employees of the company, it was an unpleasant
Yesterday
uncertainty,
сказал из компании
an
Marvell
unpleasant
о том,
risk.
что
Yesterday, we talked to different distributors, and Marvel said that the network equipment that Cisco has a big share of
может быть заменено
can be quite easily
с
replaced
Востока. Китайская
with Oriental products, the products from China and from other countries of the Orient.
все-таки это
Do
не
you think
быстрый
that this
процесс.
substitution is possible? Because, I mean, it's not a quick process, right, in a corporate infrastructure, but if the customers set
Я
themselves
думаю,
the
это
goal, can it happen?
нереалистично. Во-первых, потому что
Well, I think
китайские
it's not realistic.
производители тоже не
Occidental, Eastern,
на сегодняшний
Chinese
день
suppliers today do not deliver anything to the Russian market today. They are also placing their operations on hold. In order to make a replacement, you need to test everything. It will take months. It will take years, 18 months at least. And if you remember about the presidential decree number 250 on import substitution, means that by 2025, everyone should be without foreign-made products, be they made in North America, South America, Israel, or the Far East. So switching now to Chinese products, it's another slow action mine. But other foreigners, other foreigners is
месяц не выпустят опять очередной указ, что все теперь вообще.
other foreigners is another delayed action mine, is a time bomb, because there may be another presidential decree in the making that will prohibit all foreign-made equipment. Are you talking to other employees of foreign companies? How pessimistic are they? Well, at the moment, we are working at a dream office. We are outside of the office. We are getting our salaries. We aren't really working. We are at our country houses, planting the plants for the year, or we are studying at various online courses. We are getting used to it. Are people trying to find new jobs? Well, some are waiting for things to get better. Some have already found a new employment. Just like from the other side of the market, people are looking for new employees. I mean, today, and also Russian companies are looking to hire people who used to be employed by foreign companies, because those employees have experience of international culture. So, I mean, I think that around June time, the companies will finally decide what they are going to do, and I think the decision will be to leave, or rather not to stay. The Russian employees of foreign companies, how many of them expect to get back to the old tracks, and how many are looking for new employment? Well, I think that maybe 1% are thinking that things will be as they were before. Not more than 1%. Yes, many are already in the process of relocation. Many are looking for new jobs. Many are waiting for a good farewell salary. They are looking for new jobs, really. The majority understands that things are not going to be the same anymore. And if the company says that I'm pausing my operations in terms of security, I mean, of course, customers will have questions to such a vendor in the future. So, I mean, people are already thinking whether even if the company decides to stay, will they be able to trust it? And trust in security is the cornerstone. So it's not going to be the same as it was. Some have already left. According to your data or your feeling, how many of the Russian employees of foreign companies have already relocated to foreign lands? Well, it's hard to say. It's not a quick process. Yes, well, some companies say that they're relocating whole offices. Well, I think it's a myth. Before you relocate, you need to arrange for work visas. Some countries take 20, 30 weeks to process a working visa. So it takes time. Some people moved of their own accords and they're looking for jobs themselves. Some people are waiting for the company to relocate them. Some people have applied for a relocation. So I think about 15, 20% will definitely leave, and others will probably think of a temporary relocation to some neighboring countries like Kazakhstan or Armenia, maybe Serbia, to cater to Eastern European markets, but others will still be on the lookout. You have to understand not all employees of foreign companies here will be in demand in the foreign countries. If it's a highly skilled worker, then yes, probably that person will be hunted. But if it was just a salesperson, an ordinary regular salesperson, probably that person will not be hunted by, say, Americans, and that person will stay in Russia. If an employee generates money, then the employee will be valued. If not, then not.
Даже по происхождению.
I also heard a story that Russian developers, Russian coders, Russians by origin, even if they work abroad and even if they work in foreign companies, they stopped getting access to important components to the nucleus, to important components of software. So there's kind of mistrust emerging to Russian developers. Well, I think it was on the spur of the moment. If the employee was not loyal to the company, that person could have done anything before the 24th of February, and the other way around as well. Any company that today is called potential enemy could have done anything before the 24th of February, and all the recommendations, let's not update the software of this company, it would not have worked. I mean, if they could have done it, they would have done it already.
Я пока отключил обновление на своем iPhone.
Speaking about updates, I stopped updating my iPhone. I know that many customers are not updating the software for their network equipment. What do you think? Is this the correct move? No, it's the wrong move. It's a totally wrong move, especially for iPhone, because in the iPhone, it's an inbuilt function, that is to say, to turn it into a brick if it was stolen. An update is an inbuilt function. You can disconnect all interfaces, and probably you need to wrap it in foil. But otherwise, why would you need an iPhone in that case? If the company wanted to turn your hardware to stone, the company would have already done it. Hearing what our regulators are saying, the Ministry of Telecom or FSB, they have not yet confirmed a single case of when hardware would be turned into a brick. Even in the current difficult circumstances, foreign vendors do not want to risk their reputation by disconnecting the whole country, by making bricks out of hardware. It means I can do this everywhere, anywhere, and it will be a huge blow to the reputation, to the business. No one will dare to do it. Well, before I was also saying that no one would dare leave the country, but people are leaving, and I think that even this may change. But I think that the risks there are minimal. So please update and please remove the vulnerabilities. Otherwise, you are opening the door to anyone who is looking for access.
Для тебя лично,
What did the whole situation mean to you as a public personality, someone who speaks on behalf of Cisco, who is a Cisco evangelist almost? What was the impact of this whole situation you personally?
У тебя нет теперь того.
It was positive for me. Well, you are not no longer oppressed by the foreign. No. I was never oppressed. But already in 2014, I started including the what if slides into my presentations. I started to consider the risks of what will happen if the equipment stops working. From 2014, in all of my presentations, you will see a couple of slides about the risks. The risks are present. It's up to you how you treat those risks. Many were saying that no, it was not possible. But then everything that we discussed in the last 8 years became true. Some were ready, some were not. So now I can claim a prophet's glory. It was one of your scenarios? Yes, and I was totally serious about it. After Crimea was added to Russia, I started considering this scenario. I was actually considering the scenario already back in 2012. Even though I still am employee of a foreign company, I'm more loyal to security and less loyal to the vendor. So I always take the security perspective on any event, and I maintain this position even today. Even though I'm employed by an American company, I think first about the customer security, and if I see that something is not secure for the customer, I would advise against doing it, or I would explain the risks and let the customers decide. And after the events, there are more webinars, more seminars.
компании Cisco.
But now you put up a disclaimer. I do not speak on behalf of Cisco. Well, I always discuss it in advance. I always discuss it in advance with the organizers, whether I would be speaking as a Cisco employee or not as a Cisco employee. Because if it's a Cisco employee hat I'm wearing, then we need to pay money. It's cooperation, it's paperwork, it's budgets, it's contracts, exactly. So usually I speak as an independent expert because I mean everyone understands that there is no such thing as an independent expert. An independent expert is dependent always either on the money or the organizers or whoever. Independence is virtually non-existent in our business. So life is now easier for you, or the life didn't change for you much. Well, the life didn't change for me much because I have always kept corporate and personal separate.
Осталось ровно такой же.
And when I say personal as a security expert. What about other media personalities, public figures in the world of information security who would represent foreign vendors whose behavior changed dramatically in those times? Either they disappeared from the field of vision or they started behaving differently. Judging from what you're saying, it didn't affect you much. What about others? Other public figures? Well, we have very few security or, public figures in the field of information security. So either these people speak on behalf of their companies, they're just public speakers on behalf of their companies. And for them, if they were Russian experts, nothing changed for them. They started just mentioning, well, we told you more often. If they're representing foreign companies, for them, there are no more public speeches. They cannot speak on behalf of foreign companies, and as they are on vacation, they're on leaves at the moment. So for them, it didn't change much. And also we have fewer representatives of foreign companies in various events because they can't speak. But probably soon we are going to hear from them. We are going to see them. We'll see them more often. We'll see what will happen to them. They will become visible again. If you are not getting ready for it, if you were not separating the corporate and the personal, it may be difficult for some. Do you think that public persons who represent a company, can they harm a company? I mean, everyone knows a particular person as representing a particular company. The person hasn't yet been fired by the company, have not been laid off, but can they harm a company? Well, because it's part of PR, and any PR is good, even an obituary. But sometimes, yes, you can have such a slip of the tongue that the company will be damaged. And I know of cases when people would be fired in just one day when they said something that ran contrary to corporate policy. Companies monitor public speeches. Some companies prohibit writing or saying things that are against corporate policy, and some companies organize special trainings. I went to such a training. I went a training how not to harm a company. Well, a training how to be a public figure, what to say, what not to say, which questions should be avoided, how you can maneuver. I am an official speaker for the company. I have the rights to say everything that I deem to be good for the company. So at those trainings, you are taught to separate the corporate and the personal. Like I said, what can harm the company and what not. And sometimes the companies have black and white lists, what can be said and what can't be said, do's and don'ts. But you know that there is a lot of gray area between the do's and don'ts. The companies who care for their reputation very much. They insist on following only the whitelist. If the company says, for me, PR is not to prohibit the bad things, but to develop the good things, they say that whitelist is okay, black totally definitely not okay, gray up to you. So, and I have always been associated with companies, and the current company is looking positively on everything that I say about information security. Even if I speak as a independent expert, of course, I cannot dissociate myself from my employer completely. So it's quite easy for me. But again, there were cases when complaints would be filed to the company about me saying something wrong. There was this conference once, and I was saying that information companies are in it to make the money. And the VP of the company I worked for received a complaint from two Russian players, two Russian companies, saying that I'm undermining trust to the vendor. But every vendor is a for-profit company. There was another situation when I said something about the regulator, and then there was a complaint filed that I shouldn't be saying something about this regulator. Well, if regulators they know my phone number. They could have called me and said, "Oh, you should not have said that." Uh, so, but things change all the time, and the important thing is I've been with the company for 18 years, and I know that you can maneuver between the interests of the industry, of the vendor, of the country, and your personal interests. My last question to you, Alexei.
Ты лично, как бы ты хотел, чтобы все сложилось в
How would you want it to work out? You personally. It's been 3 months already.
Как бы ты хотел, чтобы все сложилось для сотрудников зарубежных компаний?
What would be best for employees of foreign companies? Well, I wanted to be the same as it was. Of course,
всегда колоссальнейший опыт.
working for an international employer is a huge experience. We get access to state-of-the-art knowledge. We study state-of-the-art experience. We are at the cutting edge. But I understand that it's unlikely. So people will decide for themselves. Some will say, I want to continue working with a foreign company, that's why I'm leaving the country. And others will say, well, that was excellent experience, great hunt, but I'm opening a new page, and maybe they will build new businesses or they will start working for Russian employers. I know some people who are already thinking about their startups, relying back on the previously gained experience. I don't know about me. I'm not leaving, that I know for sure. But as to whether I will seek employment with a domestic company or I will start my own business, I don't know yet.
Она полна хороших перспектив.
Well,
У нас действительно много
InfoSec field in Russia is flourishing, and we have a lot of good and promising companies here. It's all about people, and I hope that people will be able to find their place. As a patriot myself, I wish that you would find your place here in Russia and not fill the ranks of the competent and skilled guys living in the country. Instead, stay here and make domestic InfoSec better here. Alexei Lukatsky, thank you for being with us.